The Victoria History of the Counties of England, commonly known as the Victoria County History of the VCH, is an English history project which began in 1899 and was dedicated to Queen Victoria with the aim of creating an encyclopaedic history of each of the historic counties of England. In 2012 the project was rededicated to H.M. Queen Elizabeth II in celebration of her Diamond Jubilee year. Since 1933 the project has been coordinated by the Institute of Historical Research in the University of London. History. The history of the VCH falls into three main phases, defined by different funding regimes. An early phase, 1899 to 1914, when the project was conceived as a commercial enterprise, and progress was rapid. A second, more desultory phase, 1914 to 1947, when relatively little progress was made, and the third phase beginning in 1947, when, under the auspices of the Institute of Historical Research, a high academic standard was set, and progress has been slow but reasonably steady. These phases have also been characterized by changing attitudes towards the proper scope of English local history. The early volumes were planned on the model of traditional English county histories with a strong emphasis on manorial descents, the advowsons of parish churches, and the local landed gentry. A prospectus of c. 1904 stated that there is no Englishman to whom does not in some one or other of its features make a direct appeal. More recent volumes, especially those published since the 1950s, have been more wide-ranging in their approach, and have included systematic coverage of social and economic history, industrial history, population history, educational history, landscape history, religious non-conformity, and so on. Individual parish histories have consequently grown considerably in length and complexity. From 1902 the joint general editors were Henry Doubleday and William Page. Doubleday resigned in 1904, leaving Page as sole general editor until his death in 1934. In 1932 Page bought the rights to the Ailing project for a nominal sum, donating it to the Institute of Historical Research the following year. Page was succeeded as general editor by L. F. Salzman, who remained in post until 1949. The early volumes depended heavily on the efforts of a large number of young research workers, mostly female, fresh from degree courses at Oxford, Cambridge, London of the Scottish universities, for whom other employment opportunities were limited. The VCH of this period has been described as a history for gentlemen largely researched by ladies. From 1909 until 1931 Frederick Smith, later 2nd Viscount Hambledon, was the VCH's major sponsor. In February 2005 the Heritage Lottery Fund awarded the VCH £3,374,000 to fund the England's Past for Everyone project, which ran from September that year until February 2010. Progress. The first VCH volume was published in 1901, and publication continued slowly throughout the 20th century, although in some counties it has come to a halt, especially during the First World War and again in the 1970s. Some inactive counties have recently been reactivated. There are now more than 230 VCH volumes, with around 3 new volumes published per year. Each is published with a red cover, and they are therefore sometimes known as the Big Red Books. When the Institute of Historical Research published a short history of the project to mark the 75th anniversary of taking it over, it was titled The Little Big Red Book. A special edition Jubilee book was published in 2012, a Diamond Jubilee celebration 1899 to 2012. A map showing the publication status appears on the VCH website. structure and content of the county histories. From its inception, responsibility for writing the volumes was delegated to local editors for each individual county. The county editors traditionally worked under the direction of a general editor, following a uniform format and style. In general, the histories begin with one or more volumes of general studies of the county as a whole, including major themes, such as religious history, agriculture, industries, population, and an introduction to and translation of the relevant section of Domesday Book. These volumes are followed by others consisting of detailed historical surveys of each 100 wapentake volumes, and ward, parish by parish. At first, ancient ecclesiastical parishes formed the unit of investigation, but, since the mid-1950s, the VCH parish is the civil parish, the modern successor of the ancient parishes or of townships within them. Large towns are dealt with as a whole, including, since the 1960s, built-up areas of adjoining, formerly rural parishes. Under the original plan, each county, in addition to its general and topographical volumes, was to have a genealogical volume containing the pedigrees of county families. Genealogical volumes were published in a large folio format for Northamptonshire and Hertfordshire, but the research costs were found to be excessive, and this side of the project was discontinued. Completed county histories. Some of the county histories have been completed. For each of these, the number of volumes published and the date of completion is as follows: Bedfordshire 1972, Berkshire 1972, Buckinghamshire, Cambridgeshire 2002, Hampshire 1973, Hertfordshire 1971, Huntingdonshire 1974, Lancashire 1993, Rutland 1975, Surrey 1967, Warwickshire 1969, Worcestershire 1971, Yorkshire 2002. Counties in progress. For each uncompleted county history on which work is continuing, the number of volumes published and the dates of the most recent are as follows: Cornwall 1925, County Durham 2005, Cumberland 1968, Derbyshire 1907, Essex 2001, Gloucestershire 1976, Herefordshire 1975, Kent 1974, Leicestershire 1988, Middlesex 2004, Northamptonshire 2002, Nottinghamshire 1970, Oxfordshire 2011, Shropshire 1985, Somerset 2010, Staffordshire 2013, Sussex 1987, Westmoreland, Wiltshire 2011, East Riding of Yorkshire 2002, Yorkshire, Dormant Counties, Cheshire 2005, Devon 1906, Dorset 1968, Lincolnshire, London 1974, Norfolk 1975, Suffolk 1975, Yorkshire, counties with no published volumes, Northumberland, General Editors, William Henry Page, Louis Francis Salzman, Ralph Pugh, Christopher Elrington, Christopher Curry, Anthony Fletcher, John Beckett, Elizabeth Williamston, Richard Hoyle. Notable county editors: Peter Ditchfield, Mary Lobel, J. Horace Round, John William Willis Bund. Genealogical editor: Oswald Barron.